All right, everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Mouthful with Marcus. In this podcast, we dive into the vibrant world of romance and connection with Rylee Cooper, the force behind DateNight Adelaide. Dubbed as Adelaide's very own missionary of love, Rylee brings her infectious energy to discussions about modern dating, community building, and the magic of face-to-face connections in a digital age. Together, we share laughs, candid moments, and little insights from our personal stories, offering you guys a unique blend of practical tips for positive dating experiences. So tune in to discover the transformative power of companionship, especially in today's fast-paced world. Well, the recording's officially started. I don't know if I've introduced the podcast yet, but I was saying to Rylee, we've been here for like 2 hours prepping this podcast, just chit-chatting, and we've already had a million conversations. I said to Rylee that she could talk to a tree and the tree would talk back. There's a difference between someone who can talk a lot and someone who can communicate, and I feel like I'm worried that this is going to be a 3-hour podcast.
Look, editing exists for a reason,
we'll be
fine.
That old chestnut. You know what? I think that candid little opening there might just be my segue to introduce. Should I get the little sound effects? Here we go.
I'm so ready.
All right, everybody, here we go. All right, everybody, welcome to the Mouthful with Marcus. This is a podcast about whatever I say, okay? Ready, and claps.
Nice.
This is my guest, Rylee Cooper. She is the owner, the CEO, the runner of DateNight Adelaide, which I've written down here is she is a content creator that reviews, promotes, explores date ideas, stunning stays, and vibey recs, which means recreational things to do in South Australia. You are the missionary of love here in South Australia.
I would love that title, man. Absolutely. Oh my days.
You're like Cupid.
I would.
Oh my God, you are like Cupid.
The amount of people that message me and they're like, I took my girlfriend, or like I had a date this week and I took them to somewhere that I saw on your page. I'm like, yo.
You've seen Spider-Man, yeah?
I have seen Spider-Man.
You know how Uncle Ben says, with great power comes great responsibility?
I could fuck up so many people.
Like you could just send so many people on so many bad dates. Like if you're not careful with what you promote, it's like, oh no, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not in a relationship with this person anymore. Date night sucked.
Oh my God, I can't bear that responsibility. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm going to start the podcast. Oh, I should have really introduced what this podcast was.
Hold up.
Guys, just for curiosity, I'm going to get into some questions with Rylee, but the Mouthful with Marcus, I would have addressed it on episode 1, which was with my lovely sweet Nonna. You should definitely click on that video or go listen to the audio on Spotify. How was that call to action there?
That was a great call to action.
Business strategy.
Oh my days.
The podcast, if you're a newcomer here, is essentially me learning in real time with guests that I deem very wise, and I'm here to ask them questions about what they do, generally topics to do with business, marketing, psychology, mindset. And for now, the guests are just people I like. And I hope.
Dude, I got 2 compliments. You called me wise and you said you like me. That's like...
I'll give you these sound effects.
That fucking sick, man. I'm so chuffed right now.
Anyway, guys, I need to stop fucking around with these. Point of the matter is that's what the podcast is. And I figured I've always wanted to do a podcast. Literally, I have the subscribe tattoo. I have the YouTube tattoo on my leg since I was a kid. I've been on YouTube for a long time. And while I love what I do now with short form TikToks and Instagram and virality is all fun, but I feel like it takes the connection away. And this year I really want to focus on not just documenting what I'm doing and learning to share with you guys on a more intimate level, but also to connect with you guys above and beyond just short form fucking entertainment. I want to be able to talk to you and I want to be able to talk to people. What do you think of that actually? Can I have some feedback? Is that a good podcast idea?
As in that you want to talk to people and you want to...
Yeah, I don't want to start a talk show of like, here's how I made it, guys. It's like, hey guys, this is kind of what I'm doing. Come along with me and we'll learn together. Like there is an element of long form connection that's gone on social media these days.
I agree with that. But I think it's a good idea because when people have, it's at those series, right? It's day 1 of 30 of dressing or
you want to join in.
You want to join in. You want to do it. I always join the ones, I always do backflipping ones. That's why I was so excited.
Day 1 of learning to backflip.
Day 1 of learning to backflip. Our friend Ozzy told me he could teach me to backflip today. And I was like,
shout out Ozzy Edwards. Today we filmed a mukbang in the morning.
Bless him.
We ate some beautiful sandwiches and they were amazing. But I'm excited. This is episode 2. Rylee, you are the guest. I'm not going to speak about myself.
I wanted to you do the badunch because it's ridiculous. Yeah. Marcus would never speak of himself.
Now, a good host would have their notes inside of their head. A Marcus host spent half an hour beforehand looking at your Instagram page. I followed you for a long time. I've been a big fan for a long time, but I wanted to really tailor in some questions just to give context to the viewers and so that, when I do extract those nuggets of wisdom from you, the audience can take it with them. So let's start. The first question I have here.
Oh, I'm so excited.
What do you do? And how did you... And how did you find yourself there, right?
Yeah, what the fuck do I do? I do a few things. Like, do you mean just with the page specifically? Is that where...
You know, I can relate to how your brain's going. When people ask me what do, I don't know whether to say, am I a videographer, am I a photographer, am I a business owner, am I a content creator?
Yeah.
I've written a cookbook. Does that make me an author?
Does it make you an author?
Am
I think
an
it
author?
does, man.
It's hard to summarize because what we do is so...
It's very broad, man.
It's very
Everything
broad.
filters into it as well. It's kind of just creativity is the base of what we do, really.
Yeah.
I'm a creative.
You've channeled your creativity into a business.
Does it sound wanky if we call ourselves creatives? Is that really wanky?
You know, I remember when I first started out my business, I thought I'd be really professional with the way I email my clients.
I'm so excited.
And I made this, well, I still have it now, but it's slightly adjusted. I made a video GIF email signature with my titles, my address, my number, blah, blah, blah. And my title, instead of like videographer, photographer, or like, I'm a business person I have subcontractors, but I don't have staff. I'm still very small, right? You're not going to be the person who says you're a CEO, right? So my titles was...
Oh, no.
For a bit of context, I wanted my business to be very results driven for my customers. Like, here's how my videos can make you money.
Don't give us context.
So
I
called myself creative director and growth specialist.
Growth specialist.
I shouldn't laugh. Oh, that's
No,
really
you
bad.
should.
Sorry. What are you?
Oh,
what
sorry.
do you do? Go. Your turn. No.
I define what I do. I'm a social media professional, is what we call it.
Yeah.
Primarily content creator. I do a lot of, I film cute little videos, film in cute little places to tell my cute little people in my little channel. My community. I love my community, man. They're so wonderful. I have a little social media management business. I work as the content creator for a luxury travel company. But mostly my job is to summarize it, like the theme, if you've seen the Barbie movie. And then like my job is beach. My job is phone, basically. That's it.
So you would say essentially, for deeper context, you look at places that could be as a suitable experience or location or situation for a date.
Yeah, and whether a date is like you and your partner or you and your friends or just you by yourself, there are so many nuances in the word date where I think a lot of people
You
might
can have
think,
a date with yourself.
You can have a date with this solo date, dude. I fucking love solo dates, absolutely.
So you would be because my next question was, how did you like find that to be the thing you like doing, or how did you get started? You know, based on that definition of a date, you would have you enjoy experiences, and you eventually trying enough, you would be like, well, these are my favorites. Maybe I'll share them.
Yeah. The only thing that I do, the main thing I do, I'm a vibe catcher. I catch a vibe.
A vibe catcher.
I'm a vibe catcher.
Can you imagine that in an email signature?
Vibe catcher.
I love my little pod recorder. I swear to God, if this audio is not recording, I had an issue with my last podcast. If you guys can hear me good, please press the like button. Was that good?
Oh, that was great. Call to action. Call to action.
Call to action. Also, go and buy my cookbook. I'm kidding. We're not plugging this early. So do you have any more context you want to give about how you got started?
I did a journalism degree, right? And we had one course that went for 1 week, so 2 classes, where we looked at social media very briefly. And we looked at, I hate the word influencer. I hate it.
So that was right in people's ears.
That was gross. I hate it because I think there's a lot of stigma attached to it. But we looked at influencers and what they did and how they do it. And I thought to myself, I wonder how difficult that is to do. And so I just, like, that weekend my family and I went down the rabbit hole. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just take a photo. I'll just give it a crack. And it's just turned into this wonderful little community and business and like opportunities that I never really put much thought into. I'm very much, I live where I am. Like we have plans for sure, but they're very, very vague.
You're a busy person.
I'm a busy woman.
You're
Shit.
nice. Just punch my mic.
Sorry.
For some context, speaking of context, first thing Rylee did when she sat down was grab her glass of water and just pour it on my audio recorder earlier. I just
I was out to sabotage you. Nobody else, no other podcasts after this one.
That's it. I'm
the final guest.
My next thing I wanted to ask was, well, maybe not ask, but comment on was, I like the idea of what you said about how you just gave it a crack, right? A lot of the things that I've loved doing in my life have just started with like, I have no issue with seeing someone, like I'm very inspired by people, right? You shouldn't maybe not idolize people that you really look up to, because then you make them very different to who you are. Like you make them different. Like I look up to certain celebrities, but not because they're a celebrity, but because I love their values and I want to be like them. I don't want to get into a rant about that. Point of the matter is like, that idea of like, I like the way this looks. I'm going to go find out for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for you to have now built a career out of it, having just like, what if you decided, oh, fuck, I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit anxious of trying this one. Maybe I'll just leave it. I'll keep consuming it. You're like, no, even if I don't like it, I still gave it a crack. And if I don't like it, I'll try something else.
It's really good because when you first start, there is so little risk involved in starting something because your failure is so personal. I've recently started
define failure on a first try.
No, that's very true. That's very true. I've recently started doing like social hikes where I just invite members of the community to come along and just like chat. And I had such a hesitancy about it because I was like, if I fuck this up, like if people don't come to this failure is so public. Like everybody, same with like running the first event. If we don't sell those tickets, if I sell like 2 tickets,
you're worried.
I'm worried. That failure is so public.
Yeah.
The same with like when you throw a house party, the hour before the house party, you're sitting here like, what if everybody just
doesn't come?
What if everybody rocks up?
However, people sure as heck did come.
They did.
Do you want to tell me about that?
About the event or the social hikes?
The social hikes.
The social hikes. No, people did. Yeah. So I did the first one beginning or like earlier this year.
What sparked that idea, Rylee?
I love Salty Sips, right? So Salty Sips is a community that meets at Henley Beach or Glenelg Beach every Wednesday morning. And you do half an hour of yoga and you go for a swim in like the water, no matter what the weather is, no matter what season it is. And it's grown from a community of like 5 girls to like 300, 400 people.
Guys, if you're not from Adelaide, just imagine the most popular beach in your state or your city. And imagine once upon a time, you're walking down that beach on I think it's a Thursday morning. I've been
Wednesday
once or
morning.
twice.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
You're walking past the beach and there's about 10 people sitting in a circle, doing some meditation or yoga. And then you see them getting in the water. It's about 7 a.m. or early in the morning. Mm-hmm. Imagine walking past a month and a half later and it's like a small army doing the same. It is... The idea of it is beautiful, and the whole idea, like I love that it's grown because it's something like healthy. It's a. I mean, speaking of community, we've talked a lot about that recently. Yeah. You're a business and a person that brings people together on your experiences and the things you promote. They quite literally have built a trend of getting people excited about doing a healthy morning routine.
Yeah, it's really sick. And the whole idea of it, I love connecting with people. I love chatting to people. I love having people for different things because it's unrealistic to expect one friend to be able to cover all bases for you. And so when it came to like, I'd message a mate, be like, oh, you want to go for a hike today? And they'd be like, oh, like I can't. And like, that was the friend that I was relying on. Boo, be healthy. Good.
Sorry.
You're okay. Well, I've lost my train of thought.
So you were going on a hike and you found that you have friends with different things, but you didn't want to rely on just your friends. So you said, screw it. I'm going to invite my audience.
Yeah. I was like, I'll just invite people to see who come along. Like I love company. I love hiking. Let me just see if I can build something on like a similar model to the Salty Sips. It's a healthy thing. It's fun. You get to meet new people and you just get to go for a little hike and a little space. I know a lot of people who don't like doing stuff alone because they're just not used to it. I think practice is really big and like taking yourself places.
Defining a date, it didn't need to be and doesn't have to be and probably won't be a romantic thing you're offering. You're just bringing people together.
Exactly.
In the name of exercise.
Yeah, exactly that. In the name of just, it's a nice day. Let's go enjoy the day.
What was the first one like when people did rock up? You're like, you're my people.
Dude, I lost my shit. I got told several times on the hike how enthusiastic I was because I was just like giddy. I was so excited. People just kept rocking up. We had 21, I think, come up to the hike. And I was expecting like 2.
You know what?
I was expecting so few.
I'm going to give you flowers. Yeah, have some flowers.
So beautiful.
I just theoretically, was that the right word?
I'm still holding them.
I'm going to give you flowers. I'll tell you why I give you flowers. In today's world where, everyone wants to be an influencer and everyone wants to have a social media profile and X, Y, and Z. And, there are a lot of people successful at it too, depending on how you define success. A lot of people like to, hey, everyone, give me this attention so that I can build X, Y, and Z business and build X, Y, and Z vanity metrics of ego and, oh, wow, I'm going to beat my chest. I'm popular. I have lots of followers. A lot of those types of people, especially the ones that, wanted the quick results, you've been doing this a long time. And that's why I respect, literally, like I said, I've had the subscribe tattoo since I was 18. Like that was,
dude,
that's a long time ago.
I started this when I was 2021 is when I started this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with this is a lot of those people who, they just want to exist online, right? And you know how there's that saying of like, never go and meet your idols because, the idea you have of them in real life versus what they might be is very, very different. I'm not saying that, where am I going with this? I'm telling you where I'm going with this. Marcus, don't lose your train of thought.
You gave me flowers.
I'm going to break this up with a... Anyway, point of the matter is a lot of people, they have the skill of social media, but they don't have the interpersonal skill of just connecting with people. As made clear by this 14 minutes of podcast so far, you are kicking ass, by the way.
Am I really?
Yeah, good communication skills. You have the back to the flowers. Here, have the flowers.
Thank you.
You have the ability to actually transcend just the screen on the phone. Sure, you're very relatable. You have the great strategy to keep people watching and interested, but you can physically summon people to a hill, to climb a hill together and get along with them too.
Yeah.
Like that transcends over internet influencer to like person in the community doing something with the community. Like that's
so
cool
nice.
shit. You know what I mean?
That's nice. That was always kind of like the idea. I'm not a distant person. I'm not a solo person. I'm not an isolated person.
I'm not too cool for school.
I'm not too good for school. I don't like being in isolation. I lived alone for like 6 months and it was the worst 6 months of my life. I hated it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. It was nice, but overrated. And so the idea, I was so excited. The idea that because numbers on a screen are one thing, transferring that for people willing to put in effort for you because they care enough either about what you're doing or who you are is like, are you going to...
No, keep going. I'm picking the right time for it.
Okay. What you're doing or who you are is actually a really cool thing to see and it's so exciting. I can see you itching
Shout out the Rylee Cooper community.
And the good thing about it, when we had like the first event at Yellow Matter, the great thing about it, I didn't get any negative feedback on the types of people that were there because everybody that was there, I got feedback of, they were all lovely. They were all friendly. They were all such nice people.
So you're saying you brought together aligned people, like people who are all equally as nice as each other.
Yeah, I brought together people who were just good people. And for me, that's a win.
Can you imagine if you build your audience to a size where when you invite people to a hike, I mean, I wonder if Salty Sips is experiencing this, of the 1,000 people, are there bad eggs making trouble in your community? Like, are there date night community bullies?
Oh my God, the bullies.
Can you imagine? Your community is so big that like now people are like, there's a marriage inside of the community and now there's date night kids. Speaking of, actually, that's going to segue into the next question.
Oh, please.
I wanted to ask you more about your, what you've learned and your skills, but we've sort of passed that. We're going to come back to it though. I wanted to ask you, this is an interesting one and we've kind of already touched on it, especially with the whole community side of things. If I'm not looking at, actually, I'm going to face my laptop so that you can see my face when I read my poorly planned question. Ask her about her contribution to the dating scene in Adelaide. Next question, is there a greater purpose to your work above and beyond promoting date ideas? For instance, is there an impact you want to have? Now, no doubt your hike's a great example of like bringing people together. Maybe you've made someone's day. Maybe their day was better and it butterfly affected into making other people's days better because they've started their day with a nice hike with a great group of people.
Yeah.
Have you really considered the idea that like Date Night Adelaide isn't just here's a fun little piece of content of food. Hopefully you guys go and try it. I likes it. I likes it.
I likes it.
L-I-X-E. I likes it. I likes
spelling
it.
is beautiful. It's like a kind of
like
business.
The point of the matter is, do you consider like, yeah, sure, you're able to live your life online, share these places that you go to with your friends. So it's a double whammy. You're sharing experience for other people to learn. And then also you're getting a good experience with your loved ones. Do you think of the wider impact and butterfly effect of what you're doing?
The thing that I really like about what it is that I do, because I do a lot of stuff by myself, I do a lot of stuff with my friends. I've done a couple of stuff with people that I was actually dating, but very few because I like focusing on everything else around that.
Yeah.
I think, well, to me, it pushes the romance of living, I suppose, is a way to put it.
Stop. Is there a sound effect for that? What's this one? That is not the right sound effect.
I think
that's really, that's warm. I don't even know how to respond to that.
No, it's, which is something
Rylee's a lover, everyone.
I'm a lover girl. I'm a lover girl at heart. Unless you're seeing me right now, then you know I'm not a lover girl. It's something that I think a lot of people lose it, and I think a lot of people put too much focus on how they're being viewed externally as opposed to how they're experiencing where they are currently. And it's something that you hear a lot. Like you hear a lot about being present, you hear a lot about living in the moment and all that kind of business. But it gets really hard and like a really good example of this actually is when I started doing like social media a lot and I go somewhere or do something just to get a really good video. And like externally, you might be like, oh, you're just doing that for likes. You're just doing it for like a video. It's like, you don't understand that I wouldn't be having this experience and doing this really cool thing unless this is what was pushing me to do it.
Oh, mate, it culminates together. Like I remember, I can go back now on my YouTube channel, which you're viewing this on, or audience, if you're watching on YouTube, hello. You can quite literally watch my life from aged probably 15 and a half till 18. Now, if you would ask me, Marcus, were you doing that to document your life and show it to your kids one day, or were you doing it for the attention and the views? Well, you'd be, is remiss the right word? You'd be ignorant to say it wasn't for likes and views, but at the same time, what you're saying, and hopefully I'm understanding this right, is that you love it so much that in the process of doing this thing for the channel, you're actually correspondingly creating the memory at the same time. So I would come up with a YouTube idea with my friends, right? Mm-hmm. Would be 19 years old. It would have been some funny bit for YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Sure, the purpose was to capture a vlog, but you've also forgotten the fact that you now have had quality time with your friends. Like me and my friends the other week, we spent maybe 2 hours watching back all of our old YouTube videos.
That's
and
nice.
It was just a laugh and a hoot and we were together. I'm like, so glad we captured this. Think about all the memories you've created, sure, with the purpose of content, but you are actually creating moments with friends that are real. The instigator might have been content, but that doesn't mean that okay, turn the camera off. Sorry, this is done now. I'm leaving. Like, your business is quite literally cycling the experiences you're having, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's a really good excuse. A really good example is I have a video on my page about going cliff jumping in Second Valley. I have wanted to do it for ages, but it was the day that I was like, I'm going to use this for content. Like, I'm going to go this week so I can push this video out next week, that actually pushed me to do the thing.
You put urgency.
I put urgency in it. Yeah, absolutely. I would have done it otherwise. I would have just kept pushing it off because, like, who wants to drive like an hour and a half down to Second Valley to jump up some cliffs into some icy cold water? It's cool as fuck. Go do it. It's really sick. But like convincing friends as well to come with you to do that drive. It gets harder and harder as you get older to try and pull people away.
Oh, especially for like people are tired, people don't have money, people are stressed.
Yeah.
Do I want to spend the only day free I have this week going to Second Valley? Fuck yes, you do.
Fuck yeah, you do. There's cliffs there, man. What else are you going to do? Just sit and chill? Nah, man, experience life. It's sick. So it's a really good, push to go and do a lot of things and add that romance back. And it's also just a lot of fun to film everything. It's just a lot of fun.
I agree. So the ripple effect of that, rewinding slightly, you did kind of answer it based on like your feelings of being, you're a lover and you're spreading love. Do you actually consider how many dates you've actually instigated for people? Do you actually consider like, I wonder if there are people who are married now based on a date they had from my, like when we say Cupid, you quite literally have that power. I'm doing if you're audio only, I'm doing like the little finger sign.
The little finger bunnies, the air quotes.
The air quotes.
They're called. Yeah.
You are Cupid. That was my worst use. So far, every sound effect's been funny, but just then. I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies.
And that was the podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe. I'm not going to interrupt the answer to your question. Now it's time. Go.
Now it's time to go. I only really think about when people actually tell me about it. Like, I only really consider that I've...
Have you had feedback?
I've had feedback. Like, people tell me, like, people actually directly ask me, like, come to me and send me DMs asking where they should take their partners this week based on the vibe that they have. Like, I do so much heavy lifting.
Input requirement A, budget
Oh my
B,
God.
experience looking for. Yeah, I've got just the one for you.
Literally, the amount of dudes who come to me, the amount of like women who these men must be going on dates with who think that they've done all of their market research. All they've done is message me.
You're like the love doctor. That's scary. Oh my God.
It's so fun. I've had somebody ask me for a full date itinerary. They're like, I have a day, I have no budget. Can you tell me where I should take this woman in Adelaide? I was like, dude, bet you're going to go this, go to a sunflower farm, pick these flowers. You're going to go here, have lunch, order this thing. Like, and that's so much fun.
Ask for Bobby. And then like ask for someone.
Literally.
And then, oh my God.
Get the bartender special. It's delicious.
You organize like a driver for them. Where I'm going with this now is you've defined that for you, the idea of a date is quality time and experience. It doesn't just have to be romantic, right? But I want to talk to you about the romance side.
Oh, speak to me.
Was that a good segue?
We
kind of planned for this part of the conversation.
We did.
But I've just like weaved it.
You've just, so smooth with it, man.
I'm not going to, I nearly pressed the sound effect button. Here, you can press one. Here.
Oh, shit. Okay. Anyone?
One. Yep.
Is it the ABCD thing?
Yeah. Oh, that one? Okay, yep. Anyways, for the next segment of this episode, what I wanted to ask is in relation to the romance side of your datingness, right?
Yes.
Not even your datingness, Date Night Adelaide's datingness. Mm-hmm. Is there a goal, like, no doubt dating, depending on how you define it, this is like the conversation of what's a situationship versus seeing someone. Just dating, right? And we're gonna set the scene. Someone who is dating is single, they are dating numerous people. They're just almost shopping around for partners. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to lead it anywhere. You're quite literally going on quality time experiences with people who you don't know yet, right?
You're getting to know somebody.
It could lead somewhere. It might not. If you like them, you might go on a second date, X, Y, and Z. Is your goal to instigate more of the dates for someone who's dating, or are you secretly trying to have people end up in relationships? I know that you don't really have that much control in the situation, but I'm trying to lead this into the conversation about the world of dating right now.
Oh,
Do you notice like you have the same person message you 3 years later like, hey, I need another date idea with the 50th person that I haven't succeeded with in building a I know not everyone needs to end up in a relationship. That doesn't have to be the goal of the date. But like, are you finding like,
I do get
guys,
more, like,
I'm giving you good dates. Why are all of you still single? Like, for fuck's sake.
At that point, the problem is them.
Yeah,
That's it. No, I get a lot of, the most double ups that I get are usually people who are already in relationships who say like, oh, you gave me this really good recommendation. Can I get another one off of you?
Yep.
And
So
also,
it's less for the singles and more for the people who need date ideas for their partner.
Oh, that's just the people that seem to come to me. But like, dude, at the end of the day, it's for anybody who wants to take on that information. Again, I catch a vibe, but I'm just going to deliver you where I saw the vibe, and wherever you want to, whatever you want to do with that, like whoever you want to be with.
If it's for your wife, your husband, or for you're 16 and you're having your first date outside of school.
Yeah,
right.
There are some places that are really good for a first date. Which, like, when people ask me, I give them a list of all the ones that are really good for a first date. There are ones that are really good for like by yourself, for your friends, for like, they're just, man, whatever you want to take out of it, you can take out of it. But I don't really think about how many people I've impacted, because the concept that I've actually impacted anybody is such a mind fuck.
That's your what's the thing that most creatives have? Most
Imposter
creative
syndrome?
Yeah, I was gonna say most creative directors.
Like yourself, absolutely.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it's just which is why when we had the first event and people actually rocked up, I was like, are you being for real?
Yeah, is this a prank?
Is this a prank?
What are you all doing here?
What's happening here? So like,
speaking of whatever you want to take is what I believe you said maybe 27 seconds ago.
Yeah, great math. Oh my
if it was 27 seconds, that is crazy town.
Hit that like button.
Well said. I've got the question here. I kind of need to more seamlessly integrate this question, but it's going to be outright and probably hard to answer based on how abrupt it is.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the current dating scene of our generation? Now, I've just thrown a fucking... That is a big ball to hit, and you can't really answer it without being some sort of guru. What I mean to say is like, you've been on a lot of dates yourself.
I do like
You're
dates.
around this. You are around this. You've seen this. So anything you've picked up, how about we start there?
It's in my opinion on the dating scene of this current society. I believe that people have forgotten, or not forgotten. It's rarer to find people who are there to connect with the person that they're talking to. A lot of people
They want to take.
As
in like, well, this is the most least smart part of this. As in like, we're in a very transactional world at the moment. That's why I made the segue of
take. The segue of take that only existed. I tried to be
really smart, I'm sorry.
It only existed in your brain. The segue.
I hate myself. But no, it's true though. We live in a, like, what can I get out of this situation? Not what can I give to this situation? But maybe that's the world of not dating.
Not even like less what can I give? It's let me enjoy what I'm doing. When I go on a date, it's always something that I enjoy doing regardless of the other person. Because if the date goes to shit, if the person that I'm with is boring as fuck, one, I can talk to a tree and it will talk back. So like, I'm just gonna chat.
I'm sorry if you guys don't like the sound effects. I really like them.
If you don't like the sound effects,
press the dislike. Actually, don't press the dislike.
I was going to say like it so we know.
Sorry.
All the call to action.
Keep going.
Fuck. Hold up.
You can talk to a tree, so it doesn't matter. You set yourself up to succeed. I set
myself up so I'm going to have a good time regardless. But that is also because that who I am as a person is very instinctual, and who I am as a person, I catch a vibe very easily. So I can pick up pretty quickly if the person that I'm talking to, the person I'm on a date with, is not my kind of person. If you're not super, in my opinion, if you're not super in tune with who you are, what you want, what you're looking for.
We're probably not going to get along.
You're not going to get along. You're also just only going to pick stuff up. And you're only going to pick it up, you're going to look at it. And then you're only going to look at that person. You're not going to look at the vibe. You're not going to look at everything as if it's written on paper. And if you don't know exactly what you're looking for or who you are as a person, you can get very confused very quickly, which means you might end up with the wrong person. You might end up just like by yourself is fantastic. I love being by myself.
It's kind of like what people say about like you can't go looking for a girlfriend, or you can't go looking for a boyfriend. It sort of has to fall in your lap, and it only falls in your lap. And I say this, actually, I was going to out my little sister, but my little sister, shit. No, I don't want to get stuck. I just say the further you lean into figuring out what you love about yourself and who you are and what sort of person you are, guaranteed you're going to attract that person. As much as it seems airy-fairy or wishy-washy, it's bound to happen. The more sure of yourself that you are based on your experiences and what you are good at and what you're bad at, it'll come. Whereas when you're out searching because you're actually unsure, you're less likely to find the right aligned pick. Sorry, Ariel, if you're listening to this, I love you very much. She's just young. She's 18 and she looks at me and my older sister who are in long-term relationships and she's like, I want that. I was like, are you sure you want that? Because I'm sure there are a lot of things you want for yourself first, which will generate that.
Yeah,
fair?
Absolutely. No, 100%. 100%. It's, wait, I had a point that I was going to make. Wait, let me find it. Let me find the point.
Please.
Please hold.
Please hold.
Connection wise, when you, I had a point. I had a really good point.
We're going to take the time. The silence is comfortable.
The silence is comfortable.
You were talking about setting yourself up for success.
Setting yourself up for success, finding the connection within the person.
You're there to pick up things and look at them.
You're there. Oh, you can pick up things and look at them. It's kind of.
Here we go.
Oh, I've got it. I feel like today's dating scene, and this could just be a modern take on it, is that a lot of people approach dating, whereas the person who cares the most loses. And I think that is so awful. I think that is a terrible way of existing. If you care the most about somebody that you just met, as in the terms of if you show that you care too readily, if you show that you're interested in this person actively, if you show too much interest in somebody who you're interested in, you're suddenly, it's pathetic of you. Yeah. Like you're suddenly desperate.
If you don't play hard to get enough, you're in the losing situation. And if they know you want them, they're definitely not going to be. It's all hype and exclusivity.
Literally, it's God forbid somebody who you matched with on a dating app knows that you think.
I like you. I think you're awesome. Let's pursue this. I mean, you might not be interested. Oh, sorry, let me give a... This is a pitch.
Damn.
No, as in like, I recall that, especially when I was single, when I was younger, I was very forthright of like, I like this right now. I would like to do this again. I'm telling you directly, and sure, my keenness might be a bit much for you, but it's also like, at least you know here are my cards. I'm going to show you my hand. Play. Go for 100%. It. Versus like, I hope they guess I like them.
They guess. Everything that I'm putting down, oh my God. And it would just be so much easier.
Rylee, keep talking. I'm just going to turn that camera back on, which definitely has...
Oh, it's so fun. I'm just going to pull this towards me so I can move my head readily.
I'm listening.
No, that's fine. And so I think it's just it's a factor of a lot of different things that are happening in the way the dating game has changed with the introduction of stuff like dating apps and social media and all that kind of stuff. And it's so weird to talk about social media as a person who exists in the space and is a social media professional. I love social media, 110%, but I'm so hyper aware of how much impact it has on our ability to connect with other people, purely because it's taken away the risk involved in seeing somebody and approaching somebody, because people are now terrified of being rejected publicly. If you walk up to somebody in like a bar or in a restaurant and whatever the fuck, you think they're cute, you have a conversation and you tell them in that conversation, I think you're cute. Obviously you do. That's why you stood up and walked and started talking to them. And they turn around, they're like, oh, like, I'm not really interested. I feel like people today, or like younger people, are terrified of that. There is nothing worse in the world than being publicly told that someone's not interested in you.
I think it's that plus speed. And by speed, I'm going with this, like, we live in a very quick world where everybody wants things quickly. And right now it's like, well, back in the day when you were approaching at bars, there might have only been 5 attractive women that you were attracted to in that bar total. So that's, and you might only have the time, or you might only go to that bar once a month, right? What I mean to say is we're on our phones, we're access to hundreds of thousands of different male or female or, X, Y, and Z options are where you can look. What I mean to say is like that alignment back then, in terms of community, if they lived in the same state as you, they looked about the same age as you, and they were at the same bar, it probably means you're from the same community. You probably have aligned things like the work that you do in X, Y, and Z. Now you can have access to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And really, especially on that first part, which is usually looks or appearance driven, you're just filtering through. Do I even want to bother taking the first step messaging you? Or do I just like, all right, let's just see if like, we find each other attractive first, which is why things like Tinder are just bonkers, because really no conversations happen on Tinder except for the screenshotable funny pickup lines,
I love those
which
ones.
I know you used to get a lot of. But I mean, I've been in a relationship for a long time, but even when I was on Tinder, it was like, how can I get them off of this app? Because this is a place where everyone's here to be quick.
Yeah.
How can I not be quick and actually build something with you, right? But I guess what I mean to say is fear of rejection. So there'd be people probably still too anxious to even swipe or interact online.
100%, yeah.
But also like, do I want to waste my time when there's 50 million options out there? And I'm not saying that I agree with that idea. That's the issue. But it's also like, we know too much now.
We know too much. I also think in a really weird roundabout way, I think we're going to start seeing a big change in the way that people are trying to get off of the dating apps and see new things. I've seen a lot of content about run clubs being the new dating apps because I love the concept that you can go out, you can be healthy. Maybe don't be a creep and like hit on everybody in the run club because that's a bit weird. But like regardless of what you're doing something that you enjoy, you're doing something that's good for you and you're connecting and meeting new people and kind of realigning with the way that is the most fun to meet people and the most fun to date is to meet people, in my opinion, for me.
No,
the
100%.
best-
And it's a breath of fresh air because the way that the world is right now, even with things like AI, where you can quite literally talk to a robot, and now there's like dating AIs and I'm gonna spell it out just so I don't get age restricted, PORN AI and things like that. Like we live in a world where you can have the exact type of person you want that speaks and communicates the exact way you want and looks the exact way you want. Like you can have everything you want at the touch of your fingers, and it's not real life, right? Where I'm going with this is like you're saying, and bringing it back to this idea of community is, and this is why people love sports so much, because you can't fake sports. There's no robots overtaking sports. It's the athletes. There's no gray lines. It's you win or you lose, right? And you can't mirror that. And I feel like sometimes as much as online is great and you guys listening here, hopefully, I know it's episode 2, but 20 episodes from now, we'll be part of some wide online family and we're connecting and we're close and I care that you guys watch and I appreciate it. But nothing really beats that in-person connection, which is why things like your hikes, like I'm going to give you the flowers. Here's the flowers.
Thank you
Because
so
it's refreshing and it can't be mirrored online. So this is where, things like DateNight Adelaide, I can really see it transcending above and beyond. Of course, there will always be the promotional arm of this restaurant's good to try. This experience is good to have, but also like, and I'm going to give you the perfect segue to plug your next thing.
Oh my God, speak to me.
It'll become almost an events company.
Stop. Wow.
This is going to lead into an ad. So if you don't like ads, skip forward. But where I'm going with this is like, there are some things you just can't do on social media. And at the end of the day, when the robots do take over, human to human interaction is going to be worth so much more. So for you to be a propagator of bringing people together in real life, I commend you on it. I think it's awesome. I'm glad you have the skill to do it. And I would love to hear more.
Oh, let me tell you all about
Rylee Cooper's date night quiz nights.
Oh my God, I love people.
Was that good?
That was great.
Sorry, that was my ego.
Side note,
I was
they're
just
not-
stroking my ego.
I will say they're not all quiz nights. The first one was a quiz night. The second one won't be a quiz night that we're doing on the 8th, which is super exciting.
Tell me how these were birthed and why.
Oh my God, I love people. I love people so much. People were constantly messaging me, asking me where, and I kept seeing it everywhere. People were asking, where can I meet new people? I've just moved here. I've just recently got to have like a toxic friend group, a toxic relationship. I have no friends. Like I'm 23. Where the hell am I going to meet somebody? And I just kept getting messages.
Let me join something. Let me believe in something.
Yeah, exactly. Giving these people hope.
Yeah. It's so dark, isn't it? Jeez.
The world is such a dark place. But I kept seeing it and I was like, well, people just want, and the initial thing that I offered was, dude, let's go get coffee. Like, let's meet, like you and I. And I did go out for coffee with a lot of people who are now my friends, who literally just messaged me one day. They're like, I want to be your friend. I was like, dude, say less. We'll be besties. What are you talking about? Oh, I love people. I love people so much. I had two young lasses, two young girls young girls were the same age, who I met because they messaged me on Instagram. Like, oh, let's get coffee. I was like, oh yeah, 6 Slay. And then I invited them to a collaboration thing that I had at my house. We watched Saltburn. Love Saltburn. Plug for Saltburn.
That looks so good.
It was wicked.
We don't have to plug the business, but you did a concept video where you had a movie night at your house in the backyard, and the business itself was a business that lets you rent projector screens and big fluffy couches. That looks so cool.
It was really sick.
You should have invited me. I would have come to that.
Oh, really?
Saltburn's a good
You would have
movie.
come?
Okay. The reason I do what I do, which is making movies and eating food, is to watch movies and eat food.
That's fair.
This is who I am. And like, if you were to ask me what my spare time, my favorite thing to do is quite literally sit on my ass, eat till I'm like sick, like eat till I'm full, and just like watch a movie like a zombie. Like,
That's
I
so
love
sick.
that shit.
We had a fairy floss machine. It was really cool. It was really sick.
So you invited
I
these
invited
people.
them there and I came and they were like, oh, thank you so much. That was so grateful. And like for me,
Is this what led to the conception of the event?
It all kind of, sorry, yeah, I got distracted. It all cultivates, right? Because I kept getting messages from people who...
Overarching theme community.
Overarching theme, the want of community, the want to connect with people, but the not knowing where to start, the not knowing, like, again, that risk factor, because a lot of, you can't just approach somebody. I mean, I do because I'm just the most extroverted person in the world. A lot of people can't just walk up to somebody in a cafe, in a restaurant, in a whatever have you, and just start having a chin wag, just start having a chat. Yeah. And that chat turns into a friendship, or that chat turns into like you go out for coffee later, and whether that be friendships or whether that be relationships, whatever have you. A lot of people...
Think about how many, sorry to interrupt. Sorry. Think about how many like cool relationships, even just as friends, are missed and lost that could be sitting right next to you. I mean, if you're listening to this right now in a library or at a cafe, look at the person next to you. Look at them and just hold eye contact. Maybe they're like completely 3 generations. They might be 3 years old or 80, but that could be your potential next best friend. Like,
that's so true.
Think about how many are missed out on. I will not interrupt you again. Let's hear about this event. I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Every time you interrupt, I lose my train of thought because I get so enthusiastic. Not
many people can have a chin wag.
No, people can have a chin wag. And so for me, I wanted to create a space where people could come knowing that everybody there was open to have a chat. Like the whole idea behind the events is to remove all of the barriers that pre-exist in our own brains, but when we're out in the wild, right? So when we're there, you know that everybody who's there is there open for a chat. They're happy to have a chat. I've sorted the tables out depending on what people are after. So if you're on the same table and you put down that you wanted to meet lovers, then everybody else on that table is also there to meet lovers. If you're only there to meet friends, then it's just a table of friends.
You took the pressure away.
I took the pressure away.
We're bringing you guys together. Some of you might be interested in finding a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Some of you might just be wanting to make friends. You didn't put this is a romantic night and we're going to speed date around a table.
I hate speed dating. Yeah. I hate the idea. I hate the concept. I'm not into it.
You've got like a all-rounded one-size-fits-all concept.
Yeah, because I also wanted to foster I think it's practice is what people lack, the practice of having a conversation, the practice of connecting with people. And I can't hold your hand, right?
That explains the use of quiz night, because you're quite literally breaking the ice. You're facilitating. Yeah. You are Cupid. You're Cupid.
Quiz nights made the most sense, because if you didn't know what to talk about the quiz. Talk about the questions. If someone's like knows a really niche fact, dude, how the fuck do you know that? What do you mean? Such an easy segue. I wrote pickup lines and icebreakers on all of the coasters. Every coaster had something different written on it. And so if you didn't know what to say, read your coaster. Ask somebody else what their coaster says. It's such an easy way to start a conversation.
Were there any awkward moments on the event? Like, what did you... Okay, so you've told us about the event, where it's come from. Now let's plant ourselves in the audience at the quiz night. You're sitting in a room full of strangers. Some people might have brought a friend, so you're definitely you're comfortable, you're excited, and Rylee Cooper's the host, which means everyone's fucking enthusiastic, and there's not going to be, you'll be looked after. You're not going to be awkwardly sitting in the corner. I'm a guest. What do I see? What's happening?
I chatted to everybody in that room. I love crowd work.
Did you have a microphone? Like, are you the host on the stage, or what was it like?
Okay, so there was like whenever everybody who walked in, I greeted them personally. I said, cool, oh my God. I had fun facts about all the people as they walked in. So some of them I would make anecdotes about what they'd written down. We had a Taylor Swift question in one of the quiz. And after the question was asked, I ran to her table. I was like, dude, did you get it? Did you get the answer? And she was like, oh my God, yeah, I got it. I was like,
so you've like tailored an experience for people custom.
Oh yeah, there's so much that happens like behind the scenes, and also just I read all the fun facts are super fun. We have one coming up on the 8th, and somebody wrote they nearly got eaten by a baboon. And
oh my God!
And I was like, you and I, we're gonna have a chat.
So the quiz night's happening. You're physically seeing your... I'm going to call it life's work, because it's all a compounding effect of everything you've built so far. It's unfolding in front of your eyes. You've used the words in the wild. You've got a bunch of humans just interacting, getting along. You've built this, right?
Yeah.
Are people walking away thanking you? Are they saying, you know what, I really like Tommy over there. He's like, can you tell me? Like, can you get me Tommy's number?
I felt like a proud mom at the end of this event, right?
You too. Oh. Goodbye, see you. Okay, that's a battery. Haha, guys, podcasting issues. We were doing so well.
We will, it's all right.
Okay,
it's stuck in my brain. It's okay.
I've got spare batteries. Yes, I've just lost battery on my podcasting recorder. That is great. I am going to change those right now. We will have a quick intermission.
Oh, is there a way that you can like...
Well, we were really on fire, and that was a fire extinguisher. My last thing that I asked you was, talk to me about Tommy over there.
Oh, little Tommy over there. Hilariously enough, I walked around to a couple of the tables because I had a couple mates that came along. And in the coordination of the tables, I noticed that some people put down similar things because I asked people for their fun facts and I asked people.
So you've played matchmaker.
I played matchmaker. There was a girl who wrote down that she just wants somebody to build her Lego sets with, and then there was a guy who said that he really enjoys Lego. And I went round to their table and I was like, "Have you two met each other? Have you had a little conversation?" And oh my god, I felt like a proud mum. As I was going to say, I feel like a proud mum because at the end of the event, people were like, I could see people exchanging Instagrams, like they were all showing their phones.
Oh, that's a dream.
Dude, I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God.
I did this. I've done this.
I did this. It was so exciting. And went around, I talked to people because I wanted genuine feedback on how it was. And the majority, the huge overwhelming amount was, no, it was so good. Everybody is so nice. You really enjoyed it.
Can't wait for the next one.
Can't wait for the next one.
Speaking of, I'm going to ask you another question, which you've just sparked in my head. But is there anything else you want to say about the events in terms of the future, where you're taking them?
I want to make them more versatile. I'm going to go in between like bigger events as in like 100, 200, 300, probably not 300 people, 100, 200 people, and smaller, more intimate events of just stuff that you can't get anywhere in Adelaide. Like I want to create stuff that I'm genuinely really excited about, that I'm like, oh, if I was somebody who was looking for something cool to do, I'd want to do this. Like this is the thing that I would pick. So the events I'm hoping will just keep going, will just keep existing. I want to make Adelaide a place where people are no longer like, oh, there's nothing to do here. There is so much to do. So much to do here.
Mark my words. I'm honestly betting money that if you are watching this podcast and this podcast is 5 to 10 years old, look at DateNight Adelaide, and I bet you if you click in her link in bio, there will be a custom set of purchasable like playing cards. No, like this is where your business is going. I'm calling it, and this is where I'm not going to make this about. I really did want to talk to you about how you've built the business side of this up. I really wanted to, but I like how we're talking about the world and people, culture, right?
Yeah.
Mark my words, where you will make your money is in these events, especially if you can make them online. I know that's hypocritical considering I just said there's nothing like human connection. But like if you can scale these and make them like, find a way to live stream these or something like that. But I know that's kind of defeats the purpose of what we're saying.
Yes.
But if you can make like date nights, what's the game where you put your hand on colours and you spin the wheel?
Twister?
Date nights Twister game, like a custom Monopoly, a custom like, what's the one where we you drink and you match the cards up?
Snap?
No.
You drink and you match the cards up.
It's kind of a suggestive game. It's kind of funny. You pair weird things.
Oh, Cards Against Humanity? That one? Yeah.
Date Night's Card Against Humanity. Mark my words, click the link in her bio right now. I bet you it's stocked. That shit is like, because you're not just giving them the data. Here's an experience you can have. Just play with my cards.
Let's get this. Go do this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I love that shit. Yeah, I love that shit. If you don't do it, I'll do it. Where I wanted to go with this is, so far we're looking outwards at the world of dating and your impact on other people's dating lives. Have you found that, and this is not the way I want to close off the podcast, but this can easily be a positive thing that other people can learn from your response. We've called you Cupid today. We've called you Matchmaker today. We've called you the love missionary of Adelaide.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. Is there anything you're learning about yourself along the way as you curate these date experiences for people? You definitely, like I said, you do this. You've seen this, right? And I know a lot of your date night content is with friends, but you're also a person who, you're a lover, like you've said. Are you learning anything? Have you struggled with anything? Is there anything that you've had to look in on after being like, geez, I'm Date Night Adelaide and I suck at dates? Is there anything like that you go through?
I work really...
You don't have to open up too much this is going to people.
No, dude, I'm so open. It's so fun. One of the things that I probably struggle with the most and like walk the line with is that because I know so many cool places here and because I like know what's good.
There's too much to choose from.
No, not there's too much to choose from. I also don't like planning where we're going on a date.
Oh.
If I'm dating a guy, I like that he picks somewhere to go.
Like, shithead, I do this as a job.
If you're
taking me on a date, you're the date. You're the Cupid tonight, not me.
Dude, the decision of going somewhere, like sorting through all the places, I'm exhausted by it. But because I do what I do, people are like, well, I can't really pick a better place than like, you're probably the most qualified to pick something for this. But for me, tossing it back to me to be like, okay, well now you
I will happily go like sit on the grass if that's your idea that you've planned with me. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of more like, oh my God, I lost it.
Oh, honestly, well, it's the same as me. My girlfriend is very much the same in the sense of like, I could serve up the most dog shit date, but the fact that I surprised her with it and I made the effort to plan it, because right now my girlfriend's very, very organized. She's so organized, like, and she's very thoughtful too. Like I have a lovely girlfriend. But she will be like, all right, guys, not all right, guys. All right, guys, make sure to subscribe. All right, Marcus, I've got this perfect idea for this thing. I'm going to take us here. And I'm like, yes, I just get to slot into the plan, and we have fun, right? She loves, because of that circumstance and that dynamic, if I even say, Alessia, I've got a surprise where we're going for a drive to the petrol station. She's like, really? A drive to the petrol station? What I mean to say is like, I feel like you'd probably be easy to please, because at the end of the day, if someone just has the initiative, it's probably a win. I'm not saying that you go to the petrol station, but I'm saying like...
In saying that, yes, but also I had a random dude enter my DMs the other day. It was so funny. And he wanted to take me on a date. And I was like, oh my God, where are we going? Because I fucking love dates. Like, that's my whole shtick.
Sends you a link to your content?
I know. What he fucking did was he was like, oh, like we'll go get a drink, we'll go have a chat, and then we'll get Macca's on the way home.
Legend.
And I was like, not legend.
No, transparency. At least he knows what he wants, right?
Shut up. And I was like, you've seen what I do here. And you're offering us Macca's for dinner? Like, what the fuck? Shit. Who do you think you are? I was like offended. I'm like, is that the kind of woman you think you can get me drunk, then we get Macca's on the way back to your house?
But the fact that he's put that in the itinerary, like, that's pretty good. Like, sends you a calendar invite to Macca's Day.
I hated it.
Drops a pin.
Dude, I hated that so much. I was like, I feel so disrespected right now.
Fair.
So like at the same time, I like unique. I love walks. Take me on a walk. Absolutely. Get coffee, go for a stroll.
I've heard of science.
Speak to me.
I've heard of science.
I love science.
Or a fact. You could probably look this up, but like, and I found this a lot during my time of dating, and now especially even time with my girlfriend. We spend a lot of time commuting, and I don't mean by in a car, but like walking together. We even run together.
Oh, nice.
Humans tend to trust people they travel with more. So you could look it up. It's definitely something. I might be butchering this right now, but not that I'm going to give people dating advice. I'll leave that to Cupid over here. But if you could integrate some sort of walk or traveling amount, like from moving from one place to another, where you are physically moving together, your date's probably going to go much better, because you've integrated a level of trust together. Like if you look at I might be really talking out of my ass right now, but evolution, you look at tribes moving from like place to place to find food. Mm-hmm. Like that's your survival. We're going to stick together and we're going to move from one bush to another, right? We're going to work together to forage these berries, right?
Okay.
If you travel with someone, it breaks down barriers versus sitting across from each other at a table. First time you've met, hey, can I get the entree of this, please? Like, it's like...
Can I give you the psychology behind why it's better to walk with somebody or go somewhere?
Yeah.
The psychology behind it. So I used to be a door knocker, right? And when you're like, which is when you fucking knock on people's doors and they hate you, they look at you, they hate you. And what they tell you to do is when you're talking to somebody, turn side on, turn 45 degrees, because it's less confrontational, because it's inviting. It's inviting.
I just had my headshots done, like the profile picture of this podcast. Yeah. The headshots photographer's like, twist your head. It'll open you up and drop your chin slightly. Something like that?
I mean, I don't tailor my face exactly where I want
You're walking around conversating
like... But also there's something to be said about when you're walking, when you're moving your body, your brain works better. And as a result, you talk more freely. So when you're walking side by side with somebody, one, you're a more open person because you're not directly looking at them. And two, you're more willing to keep talking because you are moving your body. It's also really good. I use it on late night drives and I want to get really specific information out of people, because they're more likely to tell me if I'm not staring directly at them. If I ask them a really
God, that's some psychology.
That's a psychology. That's a fact. So like if you want to get to know somebody properly in a way that's really relaxing, go for a walk, maybe not a drive if you don't know them super well, but like go for a walk or go for a drive, because the conversation will flow a lot better. This
leads me to my next question, right? And this is, I was really going to try and dive into like your dating life and the things you like about it and the things you don't, but let's go back to this psychology side of things. Mm-hmm. I'm pointing right at you. I'm so sorry. That's bad psychology. I know things. I'm sorry. Let me rub that out.
But also, like, why do you think we're both sitting 45? I'm not facing directly towards you.
Correct. Yeah. But I feel like you're stimulating my brain plenty. So maybe we are like walking.
What can I say,
I'm
man?
moving.
What can I say?
Ready? We're going to do a speed round.
Oh, I'm so ready.
That's right, everybody. Get ready for the speed round with Rylee Cooper. We are going to ask her top 3 pieces of suggestion for a date.
Oh my God.
How do you make a date good? 3 things. Stop pointing. Go. I just pointed at you again. I'm sorry.
Good. How do you make a date good? How do you make a date good? Are you talking to me as the person who's planning the date?
You've quite literally, don't worry about the actual experience itself, but you've quite literally just said, like, I mean, we've both kind of said it in different ways. Make sure there's movement involved in your date.
Yeah, 100%.
Have a good night's sleep beforehand. If you're lactose intolerant, don't drink milk or you shit yourself on the day. Give us some really, I know that was very detailed. Give us some really broad ones that people like, you know, the person listening right now, they're like, yeah, fuck, my last 3 dates have been a real bust. Like, what am I doing wrong?
I think for me, the biggest thing that changed, because I was in this like relationship for 6 years and then I went into the dating scene, the thing that really like changed my brain chemistry of it is that when you're meeting a new person on a date, focus more on like, if I like this person, more of do they like me?
Instead of like really how can I tell them things and be a certain way so that they like me? It's more like, how can I listen and understand if you're even the right person?
No. Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, exactly that. So worry less about their perception of you and focus more on your perception of them. Don't like overanalyze them. Don't like interview
you're sitting
them.
at the table?
Literally, yeah. Don't stare at them and be like, no, actually, you're shit. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Like, don't be like that.
You're not analyzing them.
Not analyzing them, but when you do that, when the perception when the onus comes more on how that person is presenting themselves to you, you become more relaxed and you become more yourself because suddenly you understand that they're there because they're interested in you and you're just there to see if you're interested in them. That's all a date is.
So number 1, pay attention and learn. Number 2.
Number 2, do something together. Would that be like a walk? I love a game of pool. I love a game of pool.
No, I would ruin the date if it were pool because I would.
Do you have a table here?
I love no.
Oh, dude.
Oh, don't even try and challenge me. I'll play with you after. I love pool so much, but unfortunately, my love for it becomes competitive. I would ruin a date. I've been on pool dates with women, and I show no mercy.
No, dude, I'm a sore winner and a sore loser. Like this, like whether I win or lose, I'm gonna shit talk the fuck out of you.
Number 2, do something.
Do something together. Walk, go for a hit a pool. I hate bowling. I think bowling's so lame. But
because
of the shoes.
The
shoes are lame as hell, man. Although if you're gonna go bowling, go to
bowling's fun.
You can go to the Archie Brothers one. It's in Rundle Place, like where they put the Hijinks Hotel, because you can wear like regular shoes. You can wear your shoes to that bowling place.
I don't like the idea of my feet going into other people's shoes too.
You wouldn't.
For some context, I've quite literally, I haven't made Rylee wear socks, but she asked to wear socks because she didn't want her dogs, otherwise known as feet, showing on the podcast. I was telling her I have a thing. I'm always the guy wearing socks and shoes. My feet honestly are softer than any young woman's feet ever. I have baby feet because they don't touch the ground unless when I'm trying to touch grass for, mental clarity and earthing myself.
Grounding yourself.
When there's biohacking involved, I'll touch the ground. But yeah, my feet, yeah. Anyway, bowling, weird.
Bowling, do something, be relaxed, and just the onus is on them, I suppose.
Number 3.
Number 3, if I say be genuine, that's probably feeds into number 1 a little bit.
So you've got pay attention and almost like listen or a softer version of analyze. I'm not saying analyze, but number 2, do something.
Do something.
So these are 2 very good elements. What would the third one be? I know wow, that was such a nothing sentence. I just repeated myself. Well, I was trying to really hammer, okay, well, what's the third aspect that we're not covering here? Is it your prep for the date or is it the follow-up after the date? Maybe.
Oh, I love a date follow-up.
Yeah, maybe it's not what you do on the date itself. Maybe it's should we book it? Should we find out if we're booking in date 2 on the date versus giving them time to brew on it after?
One of the favorite things that somebody ever said to me, and this was my like most recent ex-boyfriend, because we went and watched the sunrise was our first day, and he brought like cut up fruit for this sunrise, and I love a sunrise day.
Wow, and you're showing commitment too in the sense of let's get up early and do this thing.
He drove from Ingle Farm down to my house, which is like a 25-30 minute drive, and then we went up to Mount Osmond before I had work.
Hear that, guys? That's a good date. Go watch the sunrise together.
I went for a sunrise swim the other day. It was lovely.
Alessia, I hope you're not watching this podcast. This is going to happen.
And then after that, when he dropped me home and he was like, I'll see you soon. And I was like, I really like that. I really like that. I had a good time. I'll see you soon. And
is there a sound effect for that?
A little, should we make one? Should we just go like,
we'll do it together. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, you sound disappointed.
Oh,
fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't give you a chance to answer number 3.
The follow-up.
Follow-up is number 3?
It's follow-up. Be like earnest and follow-up. If you enjoyed yourself, I enjoyed myself.
Let's redefine that because follow-up might not apply to someone who doesn't want to go on the date. Maybe it's number 1, listen. Number 2, move. Number 3
If
is
you enjoyed
figure out
yourself-
if you even...
I did. If you enjoyed yourself, let them know. If you had a good time,
But if you didn't,
let them know.
what do you do?
If you didn't, you can also, I mean, like in this society.
My brother, good to see you.
Right, good to see you, my G.
It's been nice, friend.
It's been nice, buddy.
Yeah.
I think if you did,
If a date finishes with buddy, that is
then
just...
that's it. We're out.
Oh,
We're out.
shit.
If I didn't enjoy a date, or if I don't see a second date, I'm kind of very much unless they come to me, be like, oh, let's go out again. Then I'll address it, and I'll be like, yeah, look. But I will always say if I had a good time, which usually I have a good time because as what you aforementioned, I always do stuff where I have a good time.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I had a good time. You're really good company. And then I won't say, let's do it again. Let's blah, blah, blah. Until they're like, oh, cool, sick. When should we do it next? I'm like, well, let me be honest. I'm upfront with you. I enjoy your company, but I don't think
This is going to work.
this is going to work.
Which, speaking of the next question, and we're going to wrap this up, but I want to ask you this. Do you have like a folder or a filing system for the archived failed dates? Like, is there a follow-up system for them? Or like, let's say I really like your company, but this isn't going anywhere, but...
Could you try again?
Thanks, laptop. Glad technology is always listening. That was my laptop.
Oh my
Do
God.
you ever have like a... Well, we're not going to be friends, and I don't really want to pursue this. You are going in the muted section of my Instagram. Like, what happens?
I block them.
Oh, jeez, I should end the podcast right there.
I'm
Everyone,
sorry.
Date Night Adelaide is an asshole.
You know what?
Jeez, that's intense. Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What if it was a nice date and you're just not aligned?
If they're a nice date and we're just not aligned, then I can just say we're not aligned. I went through a big...
And then you still block them. Thanks for the lovely dinner block.
I mean, if I...
Shit.
Fuck. No,
That's right, Rylee is an asshole.
Let me clap.
I wish we did. All right, no, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself before the podcast ends.
Genuinely, there's no nicer way to put that.
Why the block?
If I don't think that you deserve the energy of me, you're a stranger.
You're speaking as if they were an asshole on the date. What about if it's just not alignment?
If it's not alignment and they went on the date, then I'm like, I just don't think we're compatible. It's something that I've used before.
Right.
Because if you can throw the word out.
But if you suck?
If you suck, I block you.
Block,
Like,
okay.
If you suck, I don't owe you an explanation.
Yep.
Like, I met you once, you're still a stranger to me. It brings me more peace to block you than worry about you messaging me to be like, hey, let's go see
and
it
then you got
again.
to worry about rejecting or whatever.
At the end of the day, my peace is worth more than your ego.
I'm going to dap you up. That was...
I got there's a mic in the way. Okay.
No, with vigor, okay? My G. You got to be... No, you're going in too hard. Sorry, audio listeners. You need to like... It's not... stiff grab. It's like when you're dapping, just like, to do this with me, shake, floppy. All right, now just go for it. Bailey, don't even give me eye contact. You're not interested. Yeah, fuck, mind you. See that? See that? See that? Oh my God. That's what you do to someone who gives you a bad date. My brother.
My brother.
Boom.
Bang.
Sorry. Rylee, I was going to ask you about your business, but I think you've been such a good guest and I have a feeling the audience will like you that you're coming back for round 2 anyway.
Yay!
And maybe we speak less on romance, on more of what it's like to be a young business owner and what it's like to, you're good at what you do. How do I get paid for it? And then the next question is how do I get paid properly for it?
That is the next question.
And the next question is like, how do I not get screwed over? And actually, like, there's so many things, especially, at our stage, in the earlier stages of, there's a difference between building a business and building a content business. There's a difference between building a content business and building a promotional business. It's a whole, we will have that. Guys, like this video if you liked Rylee and want to have it.
I'm so afraid there are dislikes on this video.
We'll have it back for round 2. Is there anything you want to close this off with? Do you have any questions? Do you have any thought? I really like what we've talked about today. Is there
Me too. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. It was cool.
anything you want to impart in the audience? Is there any, do you have a hot take for anybody?
I feel like I ended on one. That was my hot take. Man.
Okay, well, that was Rylee, everybody. If you don't like the date that you went on, make sure to block them afterwards. This has been by far one of my favorite episodes of the 2 episodes that I've ever filmed. Rylee has been great. If you want to follow her, they can find her at...
Date Night Adelaide?
Yep.
Yeah, slay.
Make sure to leave a comment on what you want to hear next. Make sure to comment what your favorite part about the podcast is. I definitely read the comments. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's finish with a dap.
Okay, hold on.
Come here. Loosen up. You're not paying attention. And but my G.
Yeah.
Guys, that was you kicked ass.
Thank you.
You kicked ass.
I appreciate it.
I'm sorry if I do interrupt, but I reckon we got somewhere just there.
No, we did. No, yeah, we got places.